I'm Jacqueline Salway. Good day, everyone. Today, we delve into the extraordinary life of a man whose journey began in tranquility but soon unfolded against the currents of history. Join us as we unravel this story of Jose Rizal, affectionately called Pepe, a narrative of resilience, love, intellectual brilliance that left an indelible mark on the course of his homeland. This is the legacy of a man whose impact transcends time. Jose Protasio Rizal Mercado Alonzo y Reyalonda was born on the moonlit night of Wednesday, June 19, 1861, in the lakeshore town of Calamba, Laguna Province, Philippines. His mother almost died during the delivery because of his big head. In the aftermath of this tumultuous birth, Rizal's parents chose to name their newborn son Jose after Saint Joseph, the patron saint of fathers. However, in the intimate circles of family, he was affectionately known as Pepe, a tender moniker that would accompany him throughout his youth. Dr. Jose Rizal was the seventh of the 11 children of his parents. On June 22, 1861, Jose was baptized in the Catholic Church of his town by the parish priest, Father Rufino Colliantes, who was a Batangueño. His godfather was Pedro Casanas, a native of Calamba and close friend of Rizal family. Rizal was acclaimed as the national hero of the Philippines because he is a man of skills. He is a unique example of many splendor genius who was given by God with versatile gifts in which he can able to do many different things. The following are Rizal's skills and talents. He is a physician, an ophthalmic surgeon, a poet, dramatist, essayist, novelist, historian, architect, painter, sculptor, educator, linguist, musician, naturalist, ethnologist, surveyor, engineer, farmer, businessman, economist, geographer, cartographer, translator, inventor, magician, humorist, satirist, polemicist, sportsman, a traveler, and a prophet.
Hi, I'm Agapito B. Orgulio III. And our second part of this discussion is about the parents of Jose Rizal. His father, Don Francisco Mercado Rizal, and his mother, Doña Teodora Alonso Rialonda. Don Francisco was born on May 11, 1818, Binyan, Laguna. He studied Latin and philosophy at the College of San Jose in Manila. He became a tenant farmer of the Dominican Hacienda and moved to Calamba after his parents' death. He died at the age of 80 in Manila, January 5, 1898. Doña Teodora was born on November 8, 1826 in Manila. She studied at the College of Santa Rosa, a well-known college for girls, and she was Jose's first teacher. On August 16, 1911, in Manila, she died at the age of 85. Don Francisco and Doña Teodora were strict parents, but they loved their children and they never spoiled them. They trained their children to love God and to be obedient and respect people, especially the elders.
I'm Mariel Alba. And I am Raya Makalawa. For the third part of our discussion was the siblings of Jose Rizal.
Dr. Jose Rizal, the national hero of the Philippines, had 11 siblings. Here are their names and some information about their relationship with their brother. First, Saturnina, 1850-1913. Saturnina was known for her intelligence. She was also well educated and helped support the family by teaching. Her nickname was Neneng. She married Manuel Hidalgo and she died at the age of 63. Second, Pasiano, 1851-1930. Pasiano was the eldest of the Rizal siblings and played significant role in Jose's life, and an old bachelor. He died on April 30, 1930 at the age of 79. He had two children by his mistress, Severina de Sena, a boy and a girl. Third, Narcisa, 1852-1939. Narcisa was the second oldest sibling and played a nurturing role in Jose's life. Her pet name was Sisa. She is school teacher of Morong. And she married Antonio Lopez. He died at the age of 87. Fourth, Olympia, 1855-1887. Olympia was the third oldest sibling and was a talented musician. Her pet name was Ipea. He died at the age of 32. She married Silvestre Obaldo. Fifth, Lucia, 1857-1919. Lucia was the fourth oldest sibling and was known for her beauty. She married Mariano Herbosa and died at the age of 62. Sixth, Maria, 1859-1945. Maria was the fifth oldest sibling and was known for her intelligence. Biang was her nickname. She married Daniel Faustino Cruz. She died at the age of 86.
Jose Rizal, his nickname was Pepe, was born on June 19, 1861. Jose was the seventh child and the most famous of the Rizal siblings. He was a writer, poet, and a revolutionary who is credited with inspiring the Philippine Revolution against Spanish colonial rule. He died at the age of 35. He is the greatest Filipino hero at the peerless genius. Concepcion was the eighth child of the Rizal siblings, was born in 1862. Her pet name was Concha. She died at the age of 3 because of her sickness. It was Jose's first time to shed tears caused by the love and grief. Her death was Rizal's first sorrow in life. Josefa, sisters to the country's national hero and the ninth child in the Rizal family. Pangoy was her pet name. Was born in 1865. She breaks both stereotypes of women and handicap, and was elected as the president of the Katipunan's women's chapter, where she took on the appellation Sumikat. She died at the age of 80 in 1945. Trinidad, born on June 6, 1868. Trining was her pet name. Trinidad was a Filipina feminist leader and co-founder of the Philippine First Feminist Organization, the Association Feminist Filipina. She was the younger sister of the national hero, physician, and writer, Dr. Jose Rizal. She died at the age of 83. Soledad, also called Chuleng, was the youngest child of the Rizal family, who was born in 1870. Being a teacher, she was arguably the best educated among Rizal's sisters. She married Don Pantaleon Quintero on 23 June 1890 in Calamba, Laguna, Philippines. They were the parents of at least 3 sons and 2 daughters. She died on 26 August 1929 in San Roque das Marinas, Cavite, Philippines at the age of 59.
Ivy Tortoga and
Bonabel Autal.
we are going to discuss about Rizal's education. Jose Rizal's first teacher was his mother, who had taught him how to read and pray and who had encouraged him to write poetry. Later, private tutors taught the young Rizal Spanish and Latin before he was sent to a private school in Biñan. When he was 11 years old, Rizal entered the Ateneo Municipal de Manila. He earned excellent marks in subjects like philosophy, physics, chemistry, and natural history. At this school, he read novels, wrote prize-winning poetry in even melodrama, Honto al Pasig, and practiced drawing, painting, and clay modeling, all of which remain lifelong interests for him. Rizal eventually earned a land surveyor's and assessor's degree from the Ateneo Municipal while taking up philosophy and letters at the University of Santo Tomas. Upon learning that his mother was going blind, Rizal opted to study ophthalmology at the UCT Faculty of Medicine and Surgery. He, however, was not able to complete the course because the became politically isolated by adversaries among the faculty and clergy who demanded that he assimilate to their system.
Without the knowledge of his parents, Rizal traveled to Europe in May 1882. According to his biographer, Austin Craig, Rizal, in order to obtain a better education, had to leave his country's stealthily like a fugitive from justice, and his family, to save themselves from persecution, were compelled to profess ignorance. His name was entered in Santo Tomas at the opening of the new term with a feast paid, and Pasiano had gone to Manila pretending to be looking for his brother whom he had assisted out of the country. Rizal earned a licentiate in medicine at the Universidad Central de Madrid, where he also took courses in philosophy and literature. It was in Madrid that he conceived of writing Noli Me Tangere. He also attended the University of Paris, and in 1887, he completed his eye specialization course at the University of Heidelberg. It was also in that year that Rizal's first novel was published in Berlin.
Hi, I'm Erica Macantan and
I'm Arian A. Armero.
hi everyone. We are going to discuss about the works of Jose Rizal.
The first poem by Rizal, aside from sketching and sculpturing talents, Rizal possessed a God-given gift for literature. Since early boyhood, he had scrambled verses or lost sheet of paper and on the textbook of his sister. His mother was a lover of literature, noticed his poetic inclination, and encouraged him to write a poetry. At the age of 8, Rizal wrote his first poem in the native language entitled Sa Aking Mga Kababata. He wrote it in 1863.
Jose Rizal was a Filipino writer, activist, doctor, and political martyr. Although Jose Rizal died for his country at a young age, his list of literary works surpasses many writers who live a full lifetime. These works are notable for both their place in the Filipino independency and for their beautiful languages. The first poem Rizal probably wrote during his days in Ateneo was Mi Primera Inspiración, My First Inspiration, which was dedicated to his mother on her birthday. It is said that he wrote it before he was 14 years old. That is the year of 1874. In 1875, inspired by Father Sanchez, he wrote more poems. In 1876, he wrote poems on various topics: religion, education, childhood memories, and was a year later, in 1877, he wrote poems, and it was the last year in the Ateneo. Mi Ultimo Adios, English My Last Farewell, is a poem written by Filipino propagandist and writer Dr. Jose Rizal before his execution by firing squad on December 30, 1896. The piece was one of the last notes he wrote before his death. Another that he had written was found in the shoe, but because of the text was illegible, its contents remain a mystery.
Rizal's famous novel. Rizal's most famous novel, Noli Me Tangere, drew attention to the unjust Spanish rule in the Philippines. After its 1887 publication and its sequel, El Filibusterismo 1891, Jose Rizal's Noli Me Tangere was all about the Spanish colonization here in the Philippines and how the Spanish treated Filipino. In original manuscript of Noli Me Tangere, or Touch Me Not, there was a chapter deleted by Rizal entitled Elias and Salome. His reason for doing so was definitely for economic to reduce pages of manuscript. El Filibusterismo addresses topics of great importance to the movement, namely clerical abuses, racism against the Philippine people, and the Rizal's exile to Hong Kong, and later his execution by firing squad in 1896 at the age of 35.
I'm Rosidra Ipuway, discussing relationship of Dr. Jose Rizal. There were at least 9 women linked with Rizal, namely Segunda Katigbak, Leonor Valenzuela, Leonor Rivera, Consuelo Ortega, O. Seisan, Gertrude Biquet, Nellie Bowstead, Suzanne Jacoby, and Josephine Bracken. These women might have been beguiled by his intelligence, charm, and wit. Segunda Katigbak. Segunda Katigbak was her puppy love. Unfortunately, his first love was engaged to be married to a town mate, Manuel Luz. After his admiration for a short girl in the person of Segunda, then came Leonor Valenzuela, a tall girl from Pagsanjan. Rizal sent her love notes written in invisible ink that could only be deciphered over the warmth of the lamp or candle. He visited her on the eve of his departure to Spain and bade her at last goodbye. Leonor Rivera. Leonor Rivera, his sweetheart for 11 years, played the greatest influence in keeping him from falling in love with other women during his travel. Unfortunately, Leonor's mother disapproved of her daughter's relationship with Rizal, who was then a known filibustero. She hid from Leonor all letters sent to her sweetheart. Leonor, believing that Rizal had already forgotten her, sadly consented her to marry the Englishman Henry, keeping her mother's choice.
I am Leah Christine. For the last part of our discussion, we're going to discuss the death of Jose Rizal, the reason of his death, and where he is buried. So, as we all know, December 30 is the death anniversary of our national hero, Dr. Jose P. Rizal. The death of Jose Rizal came right after a kangaroo trial convicted him on all three charges of rebellion, sedition, and conspiracy. He was guided to his cell on Fort Santiago, where he spent his last 24 hours right after the conviction. At 6 a.m. of December 29, 1896, Captain Dominguez read Jose Rizal's death sentence and declared that he will be shot at 7 a.m. of the next day in Bagong Bayan. At 8 p.m. of the same day, Rizal had his last supper and informed Captain Dominguez that he had forgiven his enemies, including military judges that condemned him to die. At 3 in the morning of December 30, 1896, Rizal heard the Mass and had the confession before he taking the Holy Communion. At 5:30 in the morning, he took his last breakfast and even had the time to write two letters, one for his family and one for his brother Pasiano. And this was also the time when his wife and his sister Josefa arrived and bade farewell to Rizal. So on that day, Rizal was dressed in a black suit. The atmosphere was just like any execution by musketry, by which the sound of the drum occupied the air. Rizal looked at the sky while walking and mentioned how beautiful that day was. So Rizal was told to stand on a grassy lawn between two lampposts of Bagong Field and looking toward Manila Bay. He requested the firing squad commander to shoot him facing, but wasn't ordered to turn his back against the squad of Filipino soldiers of the Spanish Army. So Dr. Jose Rizal execution was carried out when the command Fuego was heard, and Rizal made an effort to face the firing squad, but his bullet-riddled body turned to the right and his face directed to the morning sun. Jose Rizal exactly died at 7:03 a.m. and his last words before he died were those words of Jesus Christ, "Consumatum est," which means it is finished. Jose Rizal secretly buried in Paco Cemetery in Manila, but no identification was placed in his grave. So that's the last part of our discussion. Hope you learn and bear in mind the sacrifices of our national hero for the sake of our freedom.
So thank you so much.